What up, what up? It's your girl Tiff B First, back with another edition of 99 Problems. And today, I want to resume the shoe conversation. I know last week I was talking about if shoes impacted performance. And so I've begun the process of trying alternative methods of breaking in my shoes. Now, I say alternative because prior to the fall, I would only break in my shoes by wearing them. And that is, I want to be very, very clear, that is the proper way to break in your shoes. I don't know exactly how long it historically takes me to break in shoes. I think if I was climbing consistently, which at that point was 3 to 4 days a week, I know it wouldn't take any longer than 4 weeks. I just don't ever remember that point. And I wonder if you feel the same way. They hurt, and then at some point you just forget that they hurt anymore. So I've never really kept track of the point in which I felt like the shoes were broken in. But if I found the shoes with the right size, which is a challenge, I always felt like I was good. I don't climb consistently enough to break in shoes. I just don't. I'll be honest, I'm probably climbing 1 to 2 days a week. And once my left ankle starts to get that inflammation, there's nothing that can make the shoe comfortable. It's just how the game works. So I have decided to try the 3 different methods of breaking in shoes outside of wearing them. Now, I got these 3 methods from Climbing Shoe Reviews. I'll put the link down. If you want to try it, I really only recommend it in extreme circumstances like my case. Otherwise, I would not suggest doing it. But the first method that I tried was on my Scarpa Instinct, which is for my right foot, which is the good foot. And so, when I am in a position to heel or toe, like I can actually do it, especially with those shoes. Those are really aggressive bouldering shoes. So I decided for these I would go the heat route. Now I'm going to take you through what I did to heat up my shoes. But I want to be clear, heating rubber is honestly never a good idea. This is why you shouldn't leave your shoes in the back seat of your car in the summertime if you live in a warmer climate, or just in the car, period. Honestly, I don't recommend it. So, I was a little leery of doing this, but, when extreme measures arise, you do what you got to do. So I'll walk you through what I did to break in these shoes using heat. Now, first off, the instructions indicated you needed a hairdryer. I am a sister with locks. I do not own a hairdryer. I have not blown my hair dry in probably 20 plus years. So I had to go with the method of hairdryer that I own, which is a bag hairdryer. And so the bag connects to this little spout. So I just stuck the spout inside of the shoe. And then I actually wrapped the bag around the entire shoe. I don't know why, but I thought maybe it would help keep the heat in a little bit more. And I ran it on high for about 5 minutes. Definitely no more than 5 minutes because, again, I was still super nervous about heating rubber because the shoe is made of rubber and leather and there are some synthetic elements to it, but I just wasn't exactly sure. So 5 minutes, and then I took it out. Now, the first thing I did right after taking it out of the heat was to put the shoe on my foot, and I wore the shoe for about another 5 minutes or so. Now, one thing I can say that I immediately noticed is that it was squeaky or kind of made like a fart sound when I walked, which let me know that I probably created some gaps or air holes. And again, why you probably should not do this unless it's for extreme circumstances. But I couldn't really tell if the shoe stretched out just by putting it on for 5 minutes, taking it out, and comparing what the shoe looked like before heat and what it looked like after heat. didn't seem to be much of a difference to me. There wasn't any splitting of the materials, so I was really excited that I didn't like melt the shoe away completely. But the first mission at hand was to get to the gym. So the next day, headed to the gym for my 3 problems, and here we are with this week's episode of 99 Problems. As I looked around the gym, I found the perfect wall. It was like one of those Holy Trinity moments. Walking up and seeing dead center of 3 easy-ish to moderate climbs, a V0, right in the middle. So I knew that I had this orange that I could always come down on that was flanked between this green climb, this yellow climb, and to the right of it, this blue climb. And so those were my 3. And they ranged anywhere from V2 to V6. And I was excited. And also, just keep in mind, this is not my style. I normally avoid slab. I normally avoid this section of the gym. But I wanted something that looked technical and that possibly could play more of a part when it came to footwork. This first climb, this yellow climb, I don't know what you call those holds, but they're not quite slopers. But you can, in some ways, use them in the same way that you use some slopers. And I think what some new climbers forget is that you can use all of the hold, not necessarily the most obvious part of the hold. So this climb was rated a V2 to V4. It looked pretty straightforward, just kind of like a straight up, slightly to the right, and keep going. It was a lot of just straight point contact, like just go for it, make the contact. When I was headed to this next one, it seemed way further away, and I really didn't want to let go because if I missed it, I felt like I was going to just dramatically fall. But once I got up there and I had it, although I had to shift and I got the foot in, I felt really good. Now this is where I used the side of the hold because again, you don't only have to use one part of it. And once I made it to this point, I was pretty comfortable and I was like, okay, we working over here, and I'm feeling good about this wall and the choice. And again, like I said, we had the orange climb. I didn't really want to go down those weird sloper thingies, so I had the orange climb that I could easily get down from. And so I was like, all right, 1 out of 3. We're doing good today, so let's keep it moving. Now this next climb. Okay. Now I've been dealing with a weird shoulder thing. I don't know what it is. It's getting better. I've been doing my own sort of self-PT on it. But when I saw this blue climb, I knew it would be a bit shouldery, and I could maybe use some of the little bit of power that I have and try to start thinking about technique. Now, I'll be honest with you, I didn't read this climb very well walking up to it. I just figured, okay, you get on, you go up. But I also was like, all right, shoes are definitely going to play a part because there might be some smearing. There's going to be, I'm dealing with contact on volumes. And I don't know if the left shoe, which is still the bad shoe, are going to hold up. But this was kind of the first real test of the Scarpas because the instincts, because I had to really focus on using those. Again, I had no clue how to get on this climb. I am a big fan of stemming, so eventually I started looking at other ways to get on because I knew going straight up was not going to work for me. And so that's when I looked at that sidewall and said, okay, if I kick out, I can go up. Now, I kind of cut in a little low and then foot slip. It is what it is. It happens on volumes. The shoes I have aren't that great. But that meant let me brush this climb before I get all up in it. Although I did not brush the actual volume that I slipped on, of course. And so in this next true attempt, this is when I kind of had the beta locked in on the start. And funny thing is, somebody attempted this climb after me, or was kind of working it during, and they went straight up. I don't know. So my brain was like, oh, maybe it is possible. Maybe that is the way. So for some reason I decided, let me try that way again. And then I just said, at some point, this is not my beta. Don't watch people in the gym and try to do what they do. Do the beta that works for you. So what was working for me was kind of a left drop knee and a right flag out. That allowed me to at least make it to that large volume, or that large piece that isn't good. That hold is not great. It looks better than it is. But then I could sort of rock over into that other hold that does have a jib on it. So there is a goodish hold on it. But the technique of trying to sort of, I'm losing my brain, but holding the elevator move, trying to keep it open was not working. So I really had the beta on this, and I had to remember that because this is so shouldery, I needed to take longer breaks. And so I took a 5-minute break and came back to it. The drop knee was dialed in. It felt really good. It allowed me to get that bump up with the left hand. And now, you know, again, those slippery evolves. I don't know what to tell you, but my hand stayed strong. And this is where, again, trying to get to that jib, I wanted to just go straight right, because again, I watched somebody else do it, and instead of sort of like holding the match and then going over with the right hand, it just didn't work for me. And so I'm very good about, if something that was someone else's beta didn't work, don't try it. All right, so this attempt, good on the beta with the start, trying to get over to that hold. So I went left hand first, and then that really jams me up because I am so far away from that next hold that the only thing I could try to do is to swap hands. And as I was trying to swap hands so that I could use my left to go up, I slipped, kicked off, and I was really mad. And I blamed the shoes, but I don't think it was the shoes' fault, to be honest. I just slipped. It just happens sometimes. So another go, because I was happy that I was like slowly unlocking this climb, and I hadn't really projected a climb in a really long time, so it felt good. I still felt strong, even though I did do an arc session at the beginning of my session. So I got over this time, and I was paid more attention to my feet, held firm on my feet, and then still wanted to do the hand swap. But honestly, I just started to get pumped out because I spent so much time trying to swap hands that just going to that next move, I mean, it was like pump, 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 pump. I could not do it. I couldn't do it. So after that attempt, I really didn't know if I had much left in me physically to keep trying. And so I wanted to get to the third climb and the hardest climb. And honestly, climbing with the Black Lady Climb Session crew, I really want to start pushing myself. I want to be able to, like, you know, be in the mix, and I'm just not quite there yet. But I went into this one with no expectations. I will say it looked easier from the ground. As I said, I did an arc session, and I just spent multiple attempts working this very shouldery move. And then I walk up to a climb that I didn't realize from the ground was also extremely shouldery. That start move is just like all left shoulder power. A little bit of right, but I really didn't have a lot more in my left shoulder from all the different attempts on the previous climb trying to bump up. I wanted this. I wanted to try it, but it just wasn't happening. Couldn't stop thinking about that blue climb, how close I was to the blue climb. So I went back to the blue climb and wanted to give it just one last go. And I said, all right, I'm going to give it one more go. And if I don't send it, then my next session, if it's still there, I will start my session after warming up on that climb just to see if being fresh makes a difference. So I got on the rock, the artificial rock, and you know, the same beta was still betaing and smoothing out. And I really knew that I didn't have the energy to cross over, so I just wanted to go straight to the right hand and then up with the left. And I made it over to the right, and I just got spit off. I had nothing left. My body was done, and I just had to walk away. I will say that has probably been the most exciting session I've had in a really long time, being able to work that blue climb and feeling like I actually tried hard for once in my life. You know, I'm honestly trying to get to the point where I'm projecting the orange climbs or the green climbs. The orange, it's either I can send it and flash it or it's work. So it just kind of depends on what it feels like for me. But orange is V2 to V4. And the green at this gym is V3 to V5. So I'm going to try to find a really good green one next week. But this, I don't know, this climb, I don't know what else to say other than I love that climb. I love that I wasn't afraid. I love that I fell and I felt good. I actually felt good the next day. And yeah, so the weird thing about it is when it comes to the shoe perspective, I didn't think about the shoes. Now, I did take them off when I took the 5-minute breaks, but I have to say the heat did work. I'll be honest. I don't know how I feel about the gaps, because I know there's not gaps in that the shoe is falling off. It's just that I hear that squeaking fart gassy sound when I walk. But the last time I wore those shoes, I could only do it on one climb. And I was in so much pain, I took the shoes off. The fact that I could repeatedly project a climb wearing those shoes and didn't have any issues, in my mind, it worked. But of course it worked because it's heat and heat is going to stretch rubber. I mean, honestly, that's happens over time naturally just from wearing your shoes, especially if you wear them outside in the summer at the crag. They are going to naturally just stretch out over time, which I think is why I know some people like laces. They can control that a little bit more, but I'm happy I did it. I don't regret it. If you've ever tried heat with your shoes, let me know in the comments. I, again, do not recommend it, but it worked for me, and I found immense joy in my session this week. So if you enjoy watching me try hard, because I did try hard this week, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned. I'm really excited. We got another Black Lady Climb session coming up. So each and every month I bring the crew out with me, and we do some things. Honestly, they do things and I just film them and try to not look terrible on the wall. But yeah, in the meantime, between time, y'all, see you next climb. Peace.